Bro, what did we just witness? Barcelona ties Inter Milan 3-3 in the first leg of the semifinals, with Barcelona hosting this match. Crazy moments, crazy performances all over the pitch, and it's a 3-3 scoreline heading into El San Siro.
Both teams just trading goals, but dude, I need to start with this opening goal from Inter Milan. Ball sweeping from left to right. It brilliantly finds Marcus Thuram, who provides a delicate flick. Inter Milan go up 1-0 incredibly early in this game. What were you feeling in that exact moment?
Fastest Champions League goal, semifinal goal of all time, I think is what they said. Quality goal. I mean, honestly, what I'm feeling, bro, is the evolution of the sport.
Yeah.
That finish was ridiculous.
It's beautiful,
and we're starting to see quality goals, as we saw later on in this game, of the magnitude of just, the goals that you would see in highlight reels growing up in the 2000s are now happening in what feels like very often moments, bro. And I'm just like, dude, the game has evolved so much. It's growing so much. And credit to Inter Milan, dude. Marcus Thuram, who I highlighted in my Ballon d'Or rankings, has been a player whose specific rise has guided Inter Milan offensively and been a big part for why they've been able to go so far in this tournament. Him scoring the goal, I think, was big for his narrative, but huge for Inter Milan to just expose that Barca D right off the bat and get a 1-0 lead.
I expected Inter to get that first goal, to be completely honest, because it's classic. It's typical for Barcelona to get surprised by teams who sit back and get countered on. But the second goal I was not expecting.
That second one was surprising.
Not
bro.
expecting
So
Inter Milan to take a 2-0 lead at the time. Away from home, a nice little header finding Dumfries, who bicycles it in. Inter Milan going up 2-0, that really surprised me. But knowing Barcelona's offense, knowing that they were going to have even more and more possession as the game went on, I still knew Barcelona was somehow going to get back into this game. And it was brilliance, beauty from Lamine Yamal that got him back in, dude. What a goal.
Ridiculous
What a goal from Lamine.
When Inter Milan went up 2-0, I was still hesitant to get concerned. I was saying to myself, if Inter Milan goes up 2-0 at halftime, I'll get worried.
Yeah.
Yamal responds. Yamal responds, taking the game into his own hands and beginning what I think ensued to be one of Yamal's best performances over 90 minutes on his 100th appearance for Barcelona.
Damn.
Takes the ball in by himself outside the box, curls into that left corner, hits the post and goes in. And it's Yamal who energizes this Barcelona team, creates that offense, scores the clinical goal in the big moment to make it 2-1 and get Barca right back into the game.
I just think after this performance, man, I've been saying it all season long. I've been saying like top 3, top 2 player. I'm getting slightly closer. He might be the best offensive player in the game right now. The moments that he had, starting with that goal, as you just said, after, he had some of the craziest highlights, and he only scored 1 goal.
Yeah.
The moment that happened after, where he dropped Di Marco and had to force Jan Sommer into a really quick reaction save, hits the underside of the crossbar. Ridiculous. What happened in the second half with Yamal trying this crazy lob chip that somehow still hit the crossbar. So many moments. Lamine Yamal, the only other player that I've seen pull this off is Messi.
And Steph Curry.
Only other player.
I mean, I'm thinking
That's
across sports, bro. Moments where the player just takes the game into their own hands and they look unstoppable. They look unplayable. What Lamine Yamal did today, he's done it before, but man, it just seems to be getting better and better. In this massive moment for Barcelona, he was unstoppable, bro. Di Marco couldn't even get close to him. He wasn't even trying to bite on the ball. He was playing more of a zonal defense because he was so afraid what Yamal would do. Yamal sent in so many crosses, so many assist opportunities as well. I think he deserved an assist at the end of the day after the way that he was imposing himself. His fingerprints were all over this match in ways that I've only seen with Lionel Messi and Steph Curry, where these players get completely unconscious and you're just at the whim of what they're willing to do. And Yamal damn near won this game for Barca.
Yeah, absolutely. And we kind of saw mid-season with Barcelona. If Yamal's not on the pitch, I don't think Barcelona win. If Yamal's not on the pitch today, Barcelona don't make this comeback complete. They maybe lose the game by 1 goal, but with Lamine Yamal, anything is possible with his team. So Barcelona, it doesn't matter how bad their defense can be. It doesn't matter how bad their defense can get exposed, as it proved to be exposed 3 times today. If Lamine Yamal's on the pitch, anything is possible.
Yeah, and then it's crazy because you look at the other players on the pitch as well, Pedri, Rafinha, and today you had Ferran Torres, Dani Olmo involved, and that momentum shift was huge. And it was what followed up with just a completely dominant, I would say 15, 20 minute spell from Barcelona, where we see them equalize before the half. With Pedri sending in a nice ball into the box, Rafinha heading it very directionally straight into the middle of the box where Ferran Torres gets on the end of it, makes it 2-2. Barca ties the game with obviously their best feature, their offense, dude. Their offense just clicking and getting it together. But up until that point, I really was thinking this is just honestly the most Barca game ever. I mentioned it before, when it comes to these big matches, they're not going to be pretty. It's not going to be clean. Don't expect a clean sheet. It's going to be back and forth, entertaining football, but we're going to see moments of brilliance like we saw in that second goal.
Yeah, it's gorgeous passing on that second goal that cannot be denied. But Inter Milan, it's why I'm just not a fan of this team. In that last 20 minutes of the first half, we saw the massive flaw of Inter. They can't hold on to the ball. They don't have the players to do so. It's really not Inzaghi's fault or anybody of their own. When you have Mkhitaryan, Çalhanoğlu, and Barella as your midfielders, there's just not a lot of players who create their own space. So when they get on the ball and they get a little bit of pressure, they're most likely going to lose it. And we saw that happen time and time and time again in that first half. Credit to Barcelona's midfield and defense for playing that high line and pressuring Inter Milan, because Inter simply could not deal with the pressure. They could barely string together more than 2 passes for 20 minutes.
And I don't think a team needed halftime more than Inter did in that moment, bro. They needed it badly, and they got it, leading into a slightly different second half where, once again, Inter seemed to regroup. They seemed to adapt to the game, and they end up getting a disallowed goal that was just a toe offside by Mkhitaryan. But then ultimately, through a set piece, once again, Denzel Dumfries scoring to make it 3-2. Inter gets the lead.
Inter just using their size, man. Dumfries getting big, bodying Barcelona as much as he could. Little lucky off the deflection, but it worked. Barcelona ended up getting a little lucky off a deflection as well, as Jan Sommer ends up conceding an own goal off of a crazy hit from Rafinha.
Crazy.
Harsh on Sommer. I wish there was somehow a way to not give the goal to an own goal to Sommer, because I thought he was great today.
Yeah.
Harsh to have Sommer as an own goal on the score sheet.
Yeah, and then I think what happened afterwards was mainly Barcelona-based football in Inter Milan's own half, trying to find that last opportunity. You already mentioned that Lamine Yamal lob that touched the sky and almost went down. Barca couldn't find that fourth goal, and so ultimately the score ends 3-3 here in Barca. But my question to you is, who has the advantage going into the second leg then? Is this a win for Inter Milan, or is this a win for Barcelona going into El San Siro?
I think if you're an Inter Milan fan, you're excited to host the second leg. It's tied. It's basically 0-0. Now, instead of 180 minutes, you just have 90 minutes to defeat the mighty Barcelona. And what we saw today, it's proved to be that Inter Milan maybe could beat them. I think there's going to be several factors that have to come into play. Inter Milan are going to have to play the exact same way. They cannot play any worse than they did today. If they do, there's absolutely zero chance. I thought they had a brilliant performance today on the road. Overall, they're going to have to put in the exact same shift from every single player. If one player's off, it's over. But for Barcelona, if Lewandowski's not back and Koundé's not back, I think that's going to be 2 massive misses and will actually give Inter Milan the edge. Because what I realized today, I completely underestimated Lewandowski's absence versus the size of Inter Milan's center backs. Ferran Torres, though he did get a goal, he was completely absent today. And it's just due to the size difference. Lewandowski, if he's in the pitch instead, he's bodying the Inter Milan center backs, he's occupying them, and he's able to hold up the play. Ferran Torres could not hold the ball today, and it's just not his game. Lewandowski is honestly severely missed for Barcelona up top. He needs to be back, but if he's not, hopefully Koundé's at least back, because I think that's a big miss too if he's not healthy.
And Koundé's you can say the janitor for Lamine Yamal, man, on that right side. It's Koundé's dirty work that makes things easy, opens things up for Lamine Yamal to then, go God mode on these players. Without Koundé, it puts more of a responsibility on Lamine Yamal, which he can step up into, and he can still be his old Lamine Yamal self in that position, but it's going to be tougher. And in an away environment with, more of a focus on him now, I think ultimately what I think it'll come down to in that second leg is the big moments. Who really steps up for Barcelona? Can Lamine Yamal replicate the performance today. Because if he does, he can decide the outcome.
Yeah.
Same with Rafinha. Can he replicate those insane long shots from outside the box, continue creating danger and posing a threat offensively? Pedri, can he just dominate the midfield? I think the outcome is in those players' hands because it showed today that they're the X factors when it comes to these 22 players on the pitch that can go a step beyond the other players and decide the outcome of the game. I really think that's what this is going to ultimately come down to. And then also just Inter's finishing. Can they do it? Can they get their goals? They got 2 through set pieces today, but on the counter, they did not look as deadly as I would hope that they would have. So can Inter still find another goal or two? Because I think for sure Barca's going to get on the board in Italy. Can they respond? That's the biggest question for me.
Yeah, and another injury for Inter that might equalize the playing field, even if Lewandowski's out, is Lautaro Martinez going off injured. Is that serious? Is he going to be out next week for the second leg? If so, I think it severely hinders Inter Milan's presence and danger off the counterattack because now realistically, it's just going to be Thuram. Yes, you'll have Taremi up there who is decent, but he's not Lautaro. He's not. So I think we're going to see another really tight game in the San Siro, in Milan. But I think the X factor of Lamine Yamal, maybe Pedri, Rafinha, is going to be the difference here, no matter what. If Leva's in, I would actually, not easily, but I would definitely give this to Barcelona. Without Leva, if Lamine Yamal and Rafinha give their X-Factor performances, I think they'll be just fine. Barcelona go through. It's not going to be pretty, though. It's going to be tight as hell. Inter Milan are going to throw everything at them, but it's going to be really fun to see, man.
What a game, man. What a game. This game was madness. Folks, let us know down below your score predictions for the next game. I need yours in a moment. What's going to be the score predictions? What's going to be the result at the San Siro? Who's going to end up going through? Is it going to be in extra time? Is it going to be in penalties? Because right now, we're tied 3-3.
Yeah, I could see 2-2, but I'm going to say Barcelona 2-1.
Yeah.
I won't be surprised if it goes extra time. I won't.
Yeah. I'm thinking, man. I'm thinking. I think in Barca 3-1.
Okay, statement win.
Yeah, statement win. Once they get that second one, Inter will be rattled, and I think they get another goal to close it out completely. Barca scores 6 goals over 2 legs. That would fit into the narrative of this Barcelona team so far. Scoring 6, conceding 4 going into the final.
Right. Yeah.
Man of the match?
Today, honestly, I'm going to have to say Lamine Yamal. It is ridiculously good, bro. I don't think Barcelona get back without him. I don't think so.
It's that simple. It was tight. It was actually pretty tight when there was 2-0 and they couldn't break them initially. Yeah, they were creating chances, but you typically need a moment of magic like what we saw from Yamal to really break the defense and shatter them. He completely broke them. Yeah. Driving through 2 guys and a beautiful finish. Lamine Yamal, still 17 years old, but what a player, what a result, what a game. Can't wait for the second leg.